If you know anything about me, you know that I love flying. I'm one of the few people that truly enjoys the flying experience, even if that usually means flying in the back of a plane, cramped and half miserable. So when the opportunity arose for me to fly COPA Airlines business class, I had to jump on the opportunity to see what it was like to fly without feeling trapped in a sardine can. Only one question remains though. Was it worth the money? In case you haven't heard, COPA Airlines is the flagship carrier of Panama and flies all around the Western Hemisphere. Since 1947, it has been flying to more than 84 destinations around the world and is today now a part of the Global Star Alliance. Today, I will be traveling to Peru from Costa Rica San Jose International Airport in business class, which is actually the highest tiered seating offered by the airline. Starting in the beautiful city of San Jose, the first leg of the flight will take me, of course, to Panama City, Panama, which takes only about an hour. After a short layover, I will reboard the aircraft and continue the journey all the way south to the coastal city of Lima, Peru. This is a one-way flight and has a total estimated itinerary of about 10 hours. And I have no idea what to expect. The trip started off strong since my business class ticket granted me free access to the COPA Club. It's pretty standard to be given club access on a business class ticket, so I was glad to see that COPA was also joining in on this trend. I never really expect too much from these standard lounges. However, the online reviews for this particular location in Panama City were rather negative. Some people were warning of the lack of food choices due to COVID restrictions, but praising the size and space of the club. Others were saying that the club looked, quote, dingy and overcrowded. One person even said that the only selling point was the fact that it actually had AC, unlike the rest of the terminal. And I would have to say that my experience was pretty on point with this. While I did have access to cool air and wall plugs, I was almost envious of the people outside who had access to all of the food courts and shops. Because there wasn't really anything in the club that was being offered other than a variety of packaged food and drinks, I ended up leaving and going back to the main terminal to wait at my gate. Unlike inside the COPA Club, there were plenty of food options throughout the terminal, and I was able to keep myself busy by mostly just walking around. After a short wait, I was finally back on the aircraft, ready to fly to Peru. Upon boarding the aircraft, the trip started off similarly to any other. The business class seat configuration was exactly how you would expect, with 2x2 leather seating. One of the first things I noticed though was that there was no personal entertainment device, just a single screen that was mostly used to announce safety procedures. Before takeoff, those sitting in business class were offered a complimentary bottle of room temperature water. It really wasn't long before we were in the air and heading towards South America. Very early on in the flight, however, the flight attendant came around to take orders, offering a selection of alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks alike, and several different basic meal options containing either fish, chicken, or vegetarian. It should go without saying, but everything that's available is free and unlimited for business class passengers. Even with a variety of options available to me, I went ahead and just stuck with a glass of Coke and ordered a meal for later. I was of course sitting in the very front row and was given a spacious amount of wiggle room, but even the business class seats behind me had what seemed like twice the legroom of a typical economy seat. The chairs were comfortable and reclined easily, and if I had a longer flight, I would be able to sleep without much of a problem. I was not offered Wi-Fi unfortunately, and if there was any Wi-Fi, I couldn't figure out how to use it. But I wasn't bored for long, however, because very quickly, meal service was offered. With long-haul flights, I'm typically quite critical of airline food, but this time around, I went with the basic chicken and rice drizzled in a sweet sauce, which came with some greens, some dressing, some bread, and a coconut pastry. I also discovered that if you sit in business class, you get served metal utensils. It was worth noting that only business class passengers on this flight were offered a meal service at all. So it was nice to be offered something. However, the food was just alright. I've had meals on other flights before, and this one is just a solid mediocre. The chicken and rice had a good texture. My only complaint was that it was just a little bland. For those of you who love bathroom tours, this bathroom was identical to pretty much every other bathroom you can find on a typical 737. This bathroom was reserved for business only and was very clean. You had a sink, a toilet, and that's about it. I was surprised with the lack of amenities offered. Nowadays, I see quite a variety of personal hygiene products offered in lavatories, even in economy class. But here, there were none. Still, plenty of room to brush your teeth if needed. It wasn't long before the sun began to disappear beyond the horizon and we were nearing the end of our trip for the day. All in all, the experience was pleasant, but not considerably impressive. Was it an upgrade from economy? Definitely. But I personally would be hesitant to purchase this seat at regular price for a flight that was maybe under 5 hours or so. If I'm being honest, I actually found this deal online through the Chase travel portal and was able to upgrade for free. And if you could find a great deal to upgrade to COPA Airlines business class too, I personally wouldn't hesitate. As far as the service goes, the staff was friendly but not terribly attentive, which could have been potentially a problem if the flight was much longer. The attendant was noticeably absent the second half of the flight. All in all, if you ever find a great deal like I did to fly in the COPA Airlines business cabin, it's definitely worth considering. As for me, you can continue to find me in the back of economy across from the bathroom, but honestly, I think it's where I'm meant to be. Goodbye, fancy glassware. Thank you for watching, and now, onwards to Peru.